Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a top 5 stocks to buy for August 2020 list. And in this video, these are going to be some stock picks that I think are pretty relevant given this upcoming month. There's a lot of news that has come out recently, and some of these stocks are actually ones that have been in my portfolio as well, but they're included in this list because not only am I bullish on them, but there's also some relevant news either coming this month or sometime soon after this month. So with these videos, as always, keep in mind nothing that I say is to be considered financial advice, but I just wanted to share some picks with you all. Some of them are picks that I've discussed before and even ones that are in my portfolio, whereas others may be completely brand new ones. And with this video as well, these picks are not in any particular order, but I just wanted to share a few that I think have a lot of potential in the long term. And full disclosure as well, I am a long-term investor, so with my stock picks, these are ones that I am less worried about in the short term, but I'm focusing more on the long-term perspective for them. So let's say like 10 to 40 years. And as always, if you do appreciate these videos and would like to see more in the future, then please make sure to smash that like button. It really does help me out and it shows me that you all want to see more of these videos. So let's get into the first pick of today, which is Apple stock. So before we begin discussing this one just a little bit, I want to mention, as you can see, Apple stock is up tremendously for the past year, and that's going to be pretty consistent across the board for many of my stock picks because, as we know at this moment in time, a lot of the stocks in the stock market, the major ones, are at all-time highs or near all-time highs. So there is that risk of a stock dropping significantly in the future sometime soon because we are hitting all-time highs right now. So that risk is always there. And it's not only a risk with Apple, but pretty much every stock in the stock market when the market is performing well. So keep that in mind. There is that big risk with many of these stocks if you do decide to buy some of them at all-time highs. But starting off with Apple, this is one that I have picked and it's also in my portfolio as well. I have about a $12,000 investment in Apple that's worth around $18,700 right now. But this is just one of those stocks that I'm a huge fan of. Not only does Apple have a great track record of beating expectations, as you can see right here, but they also have a huge pile of cash on the sidelines. So we're talking about near $200 billion in pure cash. So keep that in mind because if Apple decided that there was another business out there, whether it's a competitor or one that they actually feel would complement their company, then they have plenty of cash to acquire that. So they're in a really good position right now, especially with this whole Rona situation. They are one of the few businesses that don't really have to worry about the future, or at least the next upcoming few years, because of this huge amount of cash that they have on the sidelines to keep them afloat in the meantime. So as we know, cash is king, and it's absolutely huge for acquisitions. And not only that, but Apple has a huge culture of many people that are loyal to the brand. Not only does it have like a luxury status as well, but there are plenty of people that aren't rich that love Apple phones. They're willing to save up a lot of money just to upgrade to the next iPhone. And this is one of the few companies with the most brand loyalty that I've ever seen. I've only owned Apple phones my entire life. As soon as I transitioned to my first Apple iPhone, I've never gotten another phone, and I never plan on getting another brand phone. So this is just one of those companies that I think is huge, and it's especially relevant for August of 2020 because they have a stock split coming up on, I believe, August 31st. Now keep in mind, this doesn't fundamentally change anything in terms of the value of your share, other than the fact that it's a 4-for-1 stock split, meaning that every Apple share that you own right now will be split into 4 shares after the split. Now, this doesn't change the value of the stock. That one share that will be split into 4 will basically be divided by 4. So it doesn't change the value of your investment. It just changes the amount of shares, and that makes it a lot more affordable. So let's say by the time of August 31st, whenever the stock split is, when the stock splits, let's say it's $500. So that would be $125 per share after the split. You would have 4 shares at that value. But the important thing about this is that it gives a lot of investors the opportunity that don't have access to fractional shares to actually buy a high quality long-term stock at a cheaper price than they were able to before. So this is huge for people that don't have access to fractional shares. So that is one of the main reasons this stock has absolutely skyrocketed recently, because people are buying the stock right now expecting for a lot of people to buy it after the split. Now keep in mind, regardless of what happens with that, whether it goes down or goes up after the split, in the long term, I think this is a really solid, high quality stock, and it's one that provides dividends as well. So that's a huge benefit. You can use your dividend payment to reinvest back into Apple stock or another stock pick that you have. So I think that this is one of the best companies in the stock market. And moving on to the next choice, we have Adobe. So Adobe is one that I actually don't own in my portfolio, but it is one that I would likely buy if I were to add a fourth stock to my portfolio. So if you aren't familiar with my channel, I only own 3 main stocks. I have a concentration strategy. It has worked pretty well for me so far, but if I were to add a fourth different stock, I would definitely consider Adobe as one of those ones that I would pick up. So Adobe provides a lot of digital services. As we know, they have that software as a service strategy. You have Photoshop, Adobe Premiere Pro, which is huge among content creators. So instead of just charging a one-time fee for the software, now they charge per year or per month, or you can buy larger packages as well. So I even pay $100 per year for Photoshop to make my thumbnails and things like that. So I'm a user of this service as well. Yes, it's pretty expensive, $100 per year, but I think it's worth it in the end because I'm a content creator, not only for this channel, but others as well. So Photoshop has helped me make money, and I've also helped Adobe make money by using and buying their service. And as we know, when it comes to digital content, there are some crazy gross margins, meaning that the profit margins are a lot better for digital content compared to selling a physical good. So with the physical good, sometimes you have to outsource the manufacturing. You have to pay someone to actually manufacture your physical product every time you sell it to somebody. So for every person that buys it, you have to pay for that manufacturing for that product. Whereas with digital services like with Adobe, yes, you can pay the coders to make the original program, and there's also the cost of having to fix bugs consistently and things like that. But basically, once that product is initially developed, you've already paid that initial cost, and it's pretty much pure profit from there unless you want to pay some people to fix bugs consistently. So there are some crazy profit margins with the digital services, and as we know with the whole Rona situation, there's a lot of people starting to work at home, other people entering a whole new era of jobs, whether it's content creation online or working for other businesses as well online. That's absolutely huge. So I still think there's a lot of potential revenue with Adobe in the future, and especially in the long term. And then next up, we have Tesla stock. This one is huge. It's a little bit controversial, but this is one that I have a large position in my portfolio on. It takes up around 45% of my portfolio with an initial investment of around $29,000. Now it's worth around $50,000. So I've already gotten a 71% gain just within this past year. But Tesla is one of those that has flatlined a little bit over the past month. But this is relevant for August because Tesla does have Battery Investor Day coming up on September 22nd. Now, this event is supposed to be huge, and we could actually see this stock inclining a little bit towards maybe the end of August, and especially towards the beginning of September as well. Now, this is not a guarantee. It could actually not do anything up until that event, and we could actually see a negative reaction or pretty much no reaction after the event, but a lot of people are expecting this stock to raise up a little bit within now and then, just because this event is supposed to be huge. They're supposed to be announcing some revolutionary new battery technology for their company. They currently have advantages in 3 different sectors of their business. You have their full self-driving technology, where some automotive companies have straight up admitted that Tesla is 2 years ahead of them, meaning that they are likely actually much farther than 2 years ahead of them. And they've admitted this not only for the full self-driving technology, but the battery technology. Keep in mind, many electric vehicles from companies right now still can't keep up with the Tesla Model S from 2012. And then you also have the other business sector where they're ahead, which is the software. So Tesla has some really good software in their vehicles right now that other companies such as Volkswagen are struggling to build from the ground up. So they have some huge advantages because they started in the electric vehicle game much earlier than these other companies. And they started as an electric vehicle company, whereas a lot of the legacy automakers have to make that transition from their factories manufacturing gas engine vehicles to their factories manufacturing electric vehicles. So you have to keep in mind all of this retooling that's going to have to happen within their factories. They're going to have to basically clear everything out and start it from scratch if they want to develop a new manufacturing line for electric vehicles. And the problem right now is most of the legacy automakers, whether it's General Motors, Ford, or others, are halfway in and halfway out. So they're developing hybrid vehicles instead of going fully to electric. And that's a huge problem because I think this eventual transition will happen sometime in the future, whether it's the next 10 years or the next 15 years. It will happen where the majority of people have electric vehicles, and Tesla is at the forefront of this right now. And whether the stock is stagnant for a while in the future, the short term is not what you should focus on for Tesla. I am personally thinking much farther into the future. I'm talking 20 to 40 years for Tesla, and I think there's so much potential with this. However, I could see Tesla making huge moves just within the next 10 years, but I'm still thinking long term with Tesla because they are not just a vehicle company. So next up, we have AMD. Now, this is one that has skyrocketed recently, so keep in mind, if you do choose to invest in this stock, there is the huge risk of it dropping significantly after you invest. So it's up to you to decide if you're interested in this company, whether you should buy right now or if you should wait for a pullback. Now keep in mind, if you do wait for a pullback, there's always that risk of it either dropping or it actually going up even more. So some people waited on a pullback on Tesla and it just went up more. But AMD has always been one of those that has been on my watch list, one that I've been interested in, especially around that $50 price tag. Like in February, AMD was actually pretty attractive to me. And keep in mind, I was pretty far into the gaming community and the content creation community way before this channel. So I knew a lot of content creators and especially streamers that would have this person build their PCs for them, and I would follow this person as well. And he would actually speak very positively about AMD and the stuff that they have been doing recently. Their products were starting to compete a lot more with Intel and some of these other PC part companies, where the quality of the product was actually starting to get similar to what Intel was producing, yet it was significantly cheaper. And the CEO is doing very well for this company right now. As you can see, they're consistently beating earnings. Now keep in mind, the fair value on this one is $31, but also a lot of the times these analysts get the fair value very, very wrong, whether it's Tesla, Apple, or others out there. But I still see a lot of potential for this one in the long term if you are willing to be patient. Like I said, there could be a pullback and it may flatline for a while until it gets back up to this point it was previously at, or we could see it still keep on skyrocketing. That's just up to what happens in the stock market. It is already up an absolute ton just in the past 5 years, like 4,300%. But I still see some potential with this one in the future. But like I said, it is a pretty big risk right now with it skyrocketing so much recently. And then finally, we have Microsoft stock. Now, this is one that I also own as well. It takes up 37% of my portfolio. I have an initial investment of around $33,000. And it's currently worth around $41,000. That's almost a 24% gain for me, and that's less than 1 year's worth of investment in this stock. But this is one that I'm a huge fan of. It consistently beats earnings, and it also provides a dividend as well, along with consistent growth. And this one is relevant for this month because there is the news about Microsoft potentially acquiring TikTok sometime between now and September 15th. Now, keep in mind, this stock could actually go down a little bit if another company does acquire TikTok, or if Microsoft simply just chooses not to do so. But regardless of the whole TikTok deal, I think this is a really solid stock to invest in for me personally, and I'm a big fan of this one. But anyways, I just wanted to share this video with you all. And if you did enjoy it, like I said, please make sure to smash that like button. And also, let me know some of your stock picks down in the comment section below. What are some ones that you are looking at for the long term as an investment? So it has been a while since I've done a video like this, but I just wanted to share this with you all. And as always, if you would like to begin investing, feel free to use my link in the description below to sign up to Robinhood at Webull. If you use my referral link, then you can get some free stocks. And especially with Webull right now, you can get up to 60 free stocks depending on how much you deposit. So that's pretty awesome. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.